This is episode 36, and we'll be looking at abstraction. So for this particular episode, we are actually going to make use of three classes. So I have a phone class, which is just a few notes on abstraction. Then I have two other empty classes that we are actually going to be making use of. I use phone class and the readme class. So data abstraction is the process of hiding certain details and showing only essential information to the user. And abstraction can be achieved with either abstract classes or interfaces. So we'll be making use of abstract classes in this particular lesson, or rather in this particular tutorial. But for interfaces, I think we'll be looking at them in the next episode. So an abstract class is basically a restricted class from which you cannot instantiate objects. Or rather, if you want to actually instantiate objects from an abstract class, you actually need to inherit that particular class from another class. Then the body is provided by the subclass. So for an abstract class, you would realize that the methods are always going to be abstract, right? And the methods do not, or rather are not supposed to have a body, as it were. So an abstract class can have both abstract and regular methods. So we want to demonstrate the declaration of an abstract class, as well as maybe put a couple of methods within there. Then we can actually make use of them. So let's actually jump right in. So in order to declare a class as abstract, make use of the abstract keyword, then followed by the class, which is going to be phone. Then within the body of the class, or rather the abstract class, we need to have an abstract method, because remember, an abstract method can only belong to an abstract class, and also you can have a mixture of regular and abstract methods. So let's have an abstract, actually let's make it public, then abstract, then void, then maybe let's say display specs, right? So we terminate. So if you were to attempt to try and put a body on an abstract method, you'd get an error. So you see right there, I'm getting that error, right? So abstract methods do not specify a body. So if you attempt to put a body for an abstract class, your IDE is actually going to tell you that you cannot do that. So this is an abstract method right here. We just have the header, then we terminate. Then let's actually have another method, and this time is going to be a regular method. So public void, maybe let's call this one brand name. Then inside of brand name, we actually want to simply sys out that this is a very cool brand, right? So we are done with our abstract class. So the key takeaway here is to see the use of the abstract keyword, and also this abstract method, and that it does not have a body, right? And also you should notice that we can have a regular method within an abstract class. So abstract classes, they typically support abstract methods and non-abstract methods, but you need to remember that you cannot instantiate an object from this particular class. So maybe let's actually try that. Within here, let's have a main method. Then what we can do is we can call the phone. We can specify the type as phone. Then maybe let's say itel is equal to new phone, right? So I want you to notice that what's going to happen is we actually get an error right here, and it's telling us that we cannot instantiate the type phone. So basically this simply means that you cannot instantiate or create an object from an abstract class. So let me just get rid of all that. Alright, so in order for us to actually be able to instantiate this, we need to extend this class from another class. So this is where the use phone method comes into play. So let's have public class, then use phone, then it needs to extend the phone method, or rather sorry, the phone class. So we do that. Must implement the inherited. So one thing that you'll notice is before we even go any further, it's actually giving us this error right here. So it's saying that the type usePhone must implement the inherited abstract method display specs. So whenever you have a class that extends or that inherits from an abstract class, it is a must. You are supposed to actually have you need to actually implement those methods. So it means that we actually need to have a public void method called display specs in here. So let's let's actually do that, public void display specs. And the moment we do that, the moment we implement that particular method, you realize that our error is gone. So let's just sys out it features a quad-core Snapdragon processor. So it features a quad-core Qualcomm. The Snapdragon processors are made by a company called Qualcomm. So it features that, right? Then what we can also do within the usePhone method is maybe let me actually try and demonstrate this. So I want you to see what's going to happen. Let's say we want to try and implement or to instantiate an object of type phone. So let's do like what we did earlier. So usePhone itel is equal to usePhone. Actually it's new, then usePhone, right? Then we come down here and say itel dot display specs, right? Then we can even try and say itel dot brand name, right? Let's actually try and compare and run this. So Java C use phone dot java, then so you see that we get that down there, is it? So that's how you can create an abstract class, and then after you have implemented the required methods, you can then actually instantiate an object from that particular class. Then you can also extend this particular method right here, or rather you can actually implement, let me actually show you right here. So we have this public class called readme. Then let's say you wanted to instantiate another object from here. We can actually do that by leveraging on this usePhone method right there. So what we can do is we can come here, sorry, the usePhone class as it were. So we can then come here and say usePhone, then readme equal new usePhone, and then we can say readme dot brand name, then readme dot display specs, right? Then we can even compare and run this readme class. Then let's run it. So you see that we get pretty much the same output, although the order is different, because here we first called display specs then brand name, but in here we called brand name first. So you realize that it still works, right? So this is actually a child class of this one, but this usePhone also extends this. So that's how you can actually utilize abstract classes. So you first have to implement the methods that are abstract, then you can then go on to instantiate objects. Then from that class that extends the abstract class, you can actually create instances of that particular class. Like in this case, we know that usePhone extends phone, right? But we now have a class called readme, and this readme class, it actually uses the usePhone class to instantiate a readme object, and then it now has access to all those methods. And remember, the display specs method, the only reason why we are able to use it is because it's implemented in here, because otherwise the display specs method is actually an abstract method. So yeah, I think that's just about it for this tutorial. I'll see you in the next one.